Welcome, everyone, to our 10-minute Bible lesson. We appreciate you joining us today. I have to just say that we're still doing some lessons that have to do with the subject of what the Bible has to say about love. Now, we started we've been doing this for several times, but last time we looked in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Now, why would we do that? Because that entire chapter is about love. And we're going to look at some more verses today from that chapter. But the verses that we're going to look at today, I think I mentioned this last time, they're going to tell us or show us what love looks like. Why don't we go ahead and start off and read verse 4? That's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Let's see what Paul says and see if we can see in there where he's describing what love looks like. So he says this, he says, love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up. So in this passage here, we see that Paul is actually painting us a picture of what love looks like, and he's doing it with words. Well, let's take a look at and kind of break down some of these words and phrases that Paul is using with a stroke. He's painting this thing and he's showing us what love looks like. And let's see what the first stroke says. He says, love suffers long. Now, what does that mean when it says love suffers long? I think it means this, that love wants us to have patience with others. Now, I'm sure that you and we all want other people to be patient with us. And in fact, we kind of don't like it when somebody's not patient, but when they are patient with us, we can see that we like that and we appreciate that. And the reason why, that's what love is. Love is patient. And then it says this, the next thing it says, love is kind. And I think that all of us probably have witnessed some acts of kindness. And I'm sure that we've witnessed some acts of unkindness. Maybe we've witness people being kind to others at the grocery store, maybe at the department store. And we've probably seen people be rude. I mean, maybe it was out on the highway. We can see people being courteous and kind, and we can also see them being not kind. And when we look at that and we see kindness, it does something to us. It says something to us on the inside. We go, I like that. Well, when we're seeing that, we're actually seeing what love is, because love is kind. Now, what else does it say? It says that love doesn't envy. So, what does that mean when it says love doesn't envy? See, envy is when we're not happy with the success of others. That is to say, when something good happens to others, we don't like that. We probably all felt that way. You know, the Bible tells us to rejoice with those who rejoice. And it says to weep with those who weep. But it's just kind of interesting that when somebody has something good happen to them, then if we're happy about that and we're glad about that, that's a good thing, because what we're doing is we're glad that something really good has happened to that person. We want things to go well with other people. Now, it may have been a job promotion. You know, you probably heard people tell you that, and they're really happy about it. It may be that they got a new car or something like that. Maybe they were telling us about how well their children were doing in school. And we're just supposed to rejoice with them and be glad with them. Now, I be glad about it. Now, I have to say, I haven't always felt that way. I just think it's our own sinful nature. Sometimes I've been this way in the past. I kind of used to be this way when something good happened to someone, and I would just say, well, how come that didn't happen to me? That should have happened to me. I deserve that. That's what envy is. And you know what? We don't want to be that way, because when we're doing that, we're not acting in love. Well, what else does it say? Look, there's some more in here. It says, love does not parade itself, is not puffed up. Now, I thought that was really good. So we've all probably been puffed up before. That is, we puff ourselves up bigger than what we really are. And when we're doing that, we're not acting in love. Or it says love doesn't parade itself, and I think what that means, it doesn't show off. Have you ever showed off? Hey, listen, I have. And the reason I think that we show off is that we want to get as much credit as we can from as many people. I can tell you I've done that, and it's not love. That's not what love is, because love doesn't parade itself, and certainly love is not puffed up. What else? Let's go on, and it says something else in the next verse. Let's read verse 5. So 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, it says this. It says, love does not behave rudely. And love does not seek its own, is not provoked, and thinks no evil. Now, these are really good things. So maybe you're beginning to get the picture of what real love actually looks like. So love doesn't behave rudely. Have I ever been rude? I have been rude. Every time that I've been rude, I was not acting in love. Nobody likes a rude person. Tom, don't be a rude person, because when you're rude, you're not, in fact, we shouldn't be rude. We should be gracious to people, and to be humble toward people, and to be interested in people. And then it says this, it says, love does not seek its own. Whoops, looks like that's got me again, because I need to ask God to help me to put other people before myself. It's so easy for me to want to, kind of insert myself to the front. I think it's just our sinful nature that we're that way. But I can tell you that's not what love is, because love doesn't seek its own, but it seeks the welfare of others. It kind of puts others ahead. And so when you see that happen, I know you've seen that happen. What you're doing and what you're witnessing is you're witnessing love in action. Now, here's another thing it says. It says love is not provoked. Now, what in the world is that? So love doesn't get provoked. So every time I get provoked, that is to say, every time I get angry, I'm not acting in love. I think that sometimes we get it in our mind that somehow, how can I say this? Somehow that's a noble thing. I remember there's a movie out, a fantasy movie. I think it's about the Hulk, and he would always say before he turned into the Hulk, he says, "You won't like me when I get angry." Hey, I can say that's the truth, because actually no one likes to be around other people that are mad and angry. And so love is not provoked. It doesn't get easily mad and easily bent out of shape. So that's something I think that kind of turns us off when people get angry. Just think about that. It's not a virtue. Listen, don't ever encourage anyone to have a temper. A temper's not a virtue, it's a curse. Well, let's look at the last thing that this says, and this is really a good one. It says, love thinks no evil. Love thinks no evil. So love and evil, they don't go together. In fact, they do not coexist. Love doesn't just not do evil, love doesn't even think evil. How about that one? Love doesn't even think evil. See, the biggest battle that you and I have has to do with right up here, and that has to do with our thoughts. And love thinks no evil. And I can just say that I have evil thoughts, and I began to ask God, help me not to have bad thoughts. Help my thoughts to be right. That is, have right thoughts, because I think that wrong thoughts lead to wrong actions. And so love doesn't think evil. In fact, it always thinks the best of others. And I think that's a good thing. And it seems like we're tempted sometimes to think the worst. So let's don't do that. Love doesn't think evil. Love thinks the best of it. Let's give others the benefit of the doubt. Now, we're kind of out of time, but we want to say we have a couple of more verses in this chapter that continue to show us what love looks like. We're going to try to do that next time. And we're going to wrap up these lessons that we're having about love, and then we'll get on another subject. But listen, thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a really good week, and please continue to watch.